अभी 40, 40, 47, अभी सब होली।
ऊपर नहीं डाउन करो नहीं आते।
Hello, everyone. Am I audible? Okay, so fine, let's start. Okay, everyone. So, like in the last class, we were talking about basically like different kind of like string operations, and we have seen some of the basic list operation as well, and we have seen some default string function and the list function. So in today's class, what we are going to do is, so we are going to talk about various different kind of data structure. So let's try to understand that how different data structure has been placed, and then what in all things you will be able to perform with the help of this data structure. So in today's class, so we'll try to focus on other data set, the data structure, I can say, like tuples, a set, dictionary, and then we'll try to understand that what is a function, how we can create a function, and then what is a lambda function, what is iterator, generator, and so many things. So let's start with the tuples. So as we have already discussed, like about a list. So we have seen that, okay, so we can create a list, and at any point of a time, so we'll be able to iterate through a list, and we can extract an element. We can try to perform any operation that we want. We can try to do any kind of a data manipulation with respect to a list, and that is completely fine. So that is basically possible. So it's so here what I'm trying to do is, so I'm trying to create a list, as you can see, and then so I'm trying to manipulate this particular list. So I'm just trying to manipulate this like element which is available into a third indexes. So I'm just trying to like give new values. So previously it was studh, and then I'm trying to give as a kumar. So in this way, we have seen this in a studies class itself that list is a mutable entity. So you will be able to mutate a list indexes. You will be able to mutate a list items. That is completely fine. There is another data type that you will be able to find out. So there is something called as a tuples. So tuples is basically like a kind of an entity where you will not be able to mutate any kind of a element in any of the indexes. So basically it's a immutable entity. We have seen a string. So again, if I'll talk about a string, so we have seen a similar kind of a concept inside a string. So a string is basically a immutable entity. You will not be able to mutate it. It's same as, so tuples are not a mutable entity. Now a string is a primitive data type, and I can say tuple is a collections. So tuple is basically a data structure, or like a kind of a data type, or kind of a data structure which can hold a multiple elements. So how to create tuples? So there are various ways by which you will be able to create tuples. So here what I'm trying to do is, so I'm trying to create a variable t, and then I'm trying to give a normal bracket. So if I'll talk about list, so bracket will be a square bracket, but here if I'm talking about a tuple, so bracket is a normal bracket. So if I'm trying to initialize some of the variable with the normal bracket, so in that case, if I'll try to check the type of this, you will be able to find out that it is having a type of tuples by default. This is how Python understands a tuples part. Now so if I have created a tuples, so it depends upon me what in all kind of a data I wanted to store inside this tuple. So maybe I can try to store like 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5, and then I can try to store maybe like a string. Maybe I can try to store a floating point number. Maybe I can try to store a boolean value. So all these things you will be able to store inside a tuples. It's completely fine. And if I have to access a data set out of the tuples, so what I can do is, so same index wise operation I will be able to perform. So if I'm giving a tuples of 0, so index wise operation, it means it's same as a string or same as a list. Same tuples and a square bracket, and just try to give the indexes, and you will be able to get the data. So it's exactly same as a string, exactly same as a list. There is no differences that you will be able to find out. Now suppose like if I wanted to get an element from like a last index, so -1. So yes, I'm able to get the element from the last element. Suppose if I wanted to do a slicing operation, colon -1. So yes, I'm able to do a like slicing operation as well. So whatever kind of a slicing operation which I'm looking for, so I can try to perform those slicing operation. I will be able to access the data. There is no concern. There is no problem with that. It's completely fine. Now, so let's suppose what we are trying to do is, so let's suppose I have an element, so 1 at 0th indexes. So I have 1 at 0th indexes. Now what I wanted to do is, so I wanted to reassign. So maybe I wanted to assign these things with this one, a new value. If I'm going to execute it, so you will be able to find out that tuple object doesn't support a item assignment. It simply means that, so you can't reassign a data to a particular indexes. As simple as that. You can't, it's not possible, because tuples is a immutable entity. Similar kind of exceptions we were able to receive when we were trying to manipulate indexes in a string, and similar kind of things you will be able to find out even over here. So this is a property of a tuples. Now many people ask that, okay fine, so like we have a list, and why we need a tuples in that case in terms of a collection. So first of all, so it's a immutable collection. The second thing is, suppose if I have to store like some data set, maybe a kind of a password like a Gmail stores or Facebook stores. So if I have to store that kind of a sequential password, means a multiple passwords, because Gmail and Facebook, so you must have filled that. So like now whenever you will try to change a password which is a previous password, so in that case Gmail and Facebook try to give you notification that, okay, so this password is already available with me, you can't change this password. So this kind of password, if you are trying to like store over here inside the tuples, you can maybe use this tuples. There is no hard and fast that you should use that, but yeah, so wherever you are looking for a kind of a collection which is not mutable, so in that case, yes, please go ahead and do these things. Now, so let's suppose if I have a tuples over here, so I have a T1 I'm going to create, and let's suppose like I'm trying to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and here what I'll try to do is, so I will try to do like a T plus T1. So this operation was valid in case of a list. So we were able to do a concatenation operation, and yes, even over here, so I'm able to perform a concatenation operation. That is completely fine. So concatenation operation works fine with respect to tuples. Now let's suppose I wanted to iterate over a tuples. So let's see how it happens. So whether I'm able to iterate over a tuples or not. So to be T. So yes, I'm able to iterate over a tuple. So I'm able to extract a data one by one out of the tuple. So for loop is working completely fine with respect to tuples. So basically the only one difference is that you will be able to find out with respect to tuple is, so tuple is a immutable entity. Whatever operation you will be able to perform almost on a list, so similar kind of operations you will be able to perform even over here without any differences. So fine guys. So now again, if I'll talk about a tuples function or tuples method, so these are the only two methods which is available with respect to tuples, count and indexes. So as we have seen that, like count. So what is the meaning of count? So we have already seen that. Okay, so how count operation works basically inside a list. So here what I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to do like count dot this one T1. So it returns the number of occurrences of the values. So here in inside a T, so whatever number of times I have this thing, so it is going to return. Now if I'll talk about indexes, so it is going to give me indexes. So at what place this one is available, and yes, it is trying to tell me that, okay fine, so one is available at a 0th indexes. So this is how it is going to behave, this is how it is going to work, I would say. So it's completely fine. Now, so here I'm just trying to do indexing of slicing operation. So yes, that works fine for me. Now, so if I wanted to know how many elements are there inside the tuples, so yes, length is a like a method that we have already discussed in yesterday's class. Now, if I wanted to know that, okay, fine, so in which location, in which memory location, so system is trying to store my tuples, even I can do that. So as you can see, so in this memory location, so I'm able to understand that in this particular place, so tuple has been stored. So this is one of the things. So fine here. So again, I'm trying to define the tuples, and I'm just trying to find out that, okay, fine. So how many times one has occurred, how many times what is the indexes of a zeros. So it's completely fine. Now, so if I wanted to convert, suppose I have a tuples T. So this is a tuples T that I have. Now, if I wanted to convert this tuples into list, so how I can do that? So basically, like I have to do like this one. So inside this, I can try to pass a team, and in this way, so I will be able to convert tuple to list basically. So I'm able to convert tuples to a new list, as you can see. And let's suppose I'm trying to store these things inside a T2, and let's suppose like I'm trying to maybe convert this T2 into tuples again, because T2 is nothing but it's a list now. So, or maybe I can try to give L2 over here. So L2 is nothing but it's basically a list. So fine, I can try to print this one. Now, so if I have to convert these things into a tuple, so what I can do is, so I can maybe try to like do like this one, and let's see how it happens. So tuples and then L2. So if I am going to call this tuples.L2, so I will be able to convert my tuples into a list and list into a tuples. It's a very simple operation. So I will be able to convert anything into anything. And once we are converting tuples into a list, so for sure it will become a mutable entity in that particular case. So this is how like you will be able to perform a different kind of operation on top of tuples. So fine guys, so let's take few questions, and then I think we'll take it ahead. So anyone who is having questions, so raise your hand, and then you can go for the question.
Hi Sudhanshu, Azik here.
Go ahead.
Yeah, actually my question is then why do you need tuple? I mean, what is
your question?
I mean, if tuple and list have almost similar properties, then why do you need it?
So what is a special property of tuple?
Yeah.
No, what is a special property of tuple? This is my question.
It's immutable.
Yeah, that's the reason actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you have a tuple, which has you created a tuple which has int values, string values, and a boolean value. And when I'm checking the count of one, the one is stored in the one is an integer which is stored in tuple. It gives me two.
Okay.
Because it counts boolean as well.
Yes, that's what I was trying to show you. It counts boolean as well.
So if I'm checking the, so that's actually that's wrong, right?
No. Yeah, that's wrong logically, but this is how people have designed the library, so you can't do anything, right?
Okay, so
if you are going to check once, it is going to give you two. So basically, one for a one, another for the
true.
boolean. So
and if I check true also, it will also give me two.
Yes, yeah. So it's for sure like internally it is going to store true as a one. That's the reason actually. Okay. So if you are, I think we have seen these things in a class, right? First class, true plus true is equal to
1.
The value.
True.
Plus true.
Yes.
2 plus true.
It will give 2.
Yeah, 2, right?
Yes.
So generally it stores 1 inside internally, so that's the reason. So you are able to get, and it is not, it was not supposed to count it, but the thing is like, yeah, it's counting.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So any other question do we have? So I can take 1 or 2 questions. I think it's a small topic. Let me check your chat box. Is replacement possible in tuples? I think I talked about these things, right? So tuple special property is to like it's having a mutability, so you can't change any kind of a data at any like election. So no, that is not possible. Yeah. So any other question do we have?
Yeah, Subhanshu.
Yeah.
How can I get these notes? You are practicing, right? You're explaining everything. How can I get this one? I need to revise.
No, so like I have already uploaded this one, right? So for sure, when I am teaching someone, so I can't like I use many things, right? So I'm removing some things. So at the end of the class, maybe I will delete this as well. So because whatever is like whatever material I have to share, so it's already available over there. So whenever I used to teach, so I always use combination. So go through the video recording. I think that will be better.
Is bracket an identifier for tuple? So the
yes, yeah, bracket is the identifier for the tuple. Suppose if I am going to create a T1 over here, right, and T1 and simple normal bracket, and then if I'm going to take a type of this one, so yes, it is identifier.
Okay.
Okay.
Hello. Can you explain that how passwords can be used for how tuple can be used to store passwords?
Simple. So you can't mutate it basically. That's the reason. So this is how you can use it. So just try to like store all the password, whatever you have, into tuples. And anyone who is not having idea about that particular variable, they can't mutate it. Basically, even if you have idea, so you will not be able to override those variables.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Can we up and balance the topic?
One by one, please. I'm not able to get you.
Yeah, so from yesterday's session, I have a question. If you're gonna
Yeah.
multiply list with 100, and if you're not trying to print it, the output you'll get it in vertical. Okay, but if you're
No,
gonna
that is
print
not a
it,
vertical. No. That is not a vertical actually. So system is not able to get the space in a horizontal. That's the reason. So it is used to print in that way. That is not vertical. First of all.
okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
can we append values in tuples?
Sorry.
Can we append values in tuples?
No, you can't append the values in tuples. So like I told you, so there is no append function which is available. So you can't append values into tuples for sure. Yeah. So like if I have a tuples, I have already shown you one example. So I think people were sleeping that time. So like this is a T1 and T1 that we have. Now if I'm going to do T1 or a T plus a T1 over here. So in this way, T plus T1. Okay, let me execute this. Yeah. So T plus T1. So yes, tuple plus tuple operation we can try to perform. But suppose if I have to add one single element, like we were trying to do in case of a list. So we were trying to do append operation, extend operation, and insert operation. These are the three operations that we have done. Now, so if we are trying to do the same thing over here, there is no append method that you will be able to find out. So there is no append operation which is possible in this one. Fine. So moving ahead with the new things. So now, so here what we are trying to do is, so the next element that we are going to discuss, the next collection that we are going to discuss is called as a set. So basically again, set is having a special property. Set is a collection, just like a list or the tuples that we have discussed or a string that we have discussed. But yes, a set comes with a special properties. So what is a special property of a set? So set always try to give you a unique element at any point of a time. So like I have a data, so let's try to do in this way. So maybe what I can do is, so I can try to create one single variable set. So set is a method, you can just call it, and then so you can try to assign this one to the variable. Now if I'm going to check a type of this one, so for sure type of this one will be a set. So fine. Now if I'll try to check the property of a set, so this is how you will be able to get the definition: build an unordered collection of the unique element. So let's try to understand that what is the meaning of this. So suppose if I'm going to insert a list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 1, 1, 1, right? And if I'm going to execute it, let's suppose, so if I'm going to print X now, so you will be able to find out that it is going to remove each and every duplicate which is available inside my collection. So I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5, 5, and then 1, 1, 1, 1. So it is going to remove all the duplicates and it is going to hold only a unique data in this particular case. So this is the property of the set that you will be able to find out. So it always try to remove the duplicate. Suppose if I'm reading a books, reading an entire data set from the Wikipedia, and if I have to remove all the duplicates, if I don't want all the duplicates words which is available inside a Wikipedia, or maybe if I'm trying to parse this entire books, and if I have to remove this entire like a duplicate data set, duplicate characters, I can use set basically. So I can try to pass entire data set inside the set, like inside a list or maybe row by row operations, and it will be able to give me a unique element. This is the property of the set that you will be able to find out. Yesterday someone was asking me a question that how we can remove all the duplicates. So set is a data type basically. Or set is a data structure or collections that you will be able to find out, by which you will be able to remove all the duplicates. Now, so like it's very simple to create a set, and I'm just trying to pass a list, and happily it will be able to remove all the duplicates from this particular operation. Now, so suppose if I have X as a set, and again representation of set is a curly braces, as you can see. So representation for a for list is a square bracket, for tuples is a normal bracket, and for this particular set is a curly braces. Again, you will be able to find out going forward that representation of a string is like a dictionary is also a curly braces. So fine, we'll try to understand that. Now here, so I have like a set I have created over here. Now if I wanted to convert these things into a list, so let's try to understand that whether we'll be able to convert it or not. So yes, I can convert it. So I can convert this like a set into a list, like I was able to convert tuples into a list. Now easily list into a set, we have already seen that. So list from set, now we can convert it. Now so tuple tuples. Now let's try to understand that whether I can convert these things into tuples or not. Yes, I can convert set into a tuples, and vice versa is also possible over here. So I can try to pass maybe a one like a T over here, the same tuples that we have created above, and I'm able to pass these tuples into a set, and I'm able to get that particular value. So again, that is completely fine. Now, the other operation that we can try to perform is, so suppose we have a set. So suppose we have a set X, and then let's try to understand that what all methods are available. So what I can do is I can try to call an add method. So if I'm going to call an add method with respect to a set, so now what will happen? So I can try to add anything inside this particular set. Now let's suppose I'm trying to add a particular list. So 3, 4, 5, 6. Now if I'm going to add these things, so and here, so if I'll try to print this X, so this is my X, and I'm trying to print like a X dot add. What I have done is I have basically passed a list, and it is giving me an error. Now let's suppose I'm trying to add something like this one, and this time it's completely fine. So whenever you are trying to add something inside a set, so you are not supposed to add something inside a set as a collection. So you are supposed to add something inside a set as a primitive data type, whereas we have seen the same thing into a list. So inside a list, so we can add any kind of a list, any number of the list, and any size of the list. So that was valid inside a list. But if I'll talk about a set, so that operation is not valid inside a set. So that is completely fine. So we are able to add this data. Now again, if I'll try to execute it, and if I'll try to add it again, that is not a problem. So, but yeah, so whenever you will try to print X, so it is not going to give you this data twice. It is just going to give you this data, I can say, just for once. So here I'm trying to add SUDH, it's completely fine. Here I'm trying to add like a 234, it's completely fine again, I would say. So these are the operations that you will be able to perform with respect to a set. Now, so the other operations that you must be able to find out with respect to set is these many operations. So like there is a clear, copy, difference, and all those things. Suppose if I'm talking about a pop operation. So if I'm talking about a pop operation, so we have already seen this pop operation with respect to a list. So we have seen that. So if we are not giving anything like in terms of pop operation, so if we are not giving any indexes, so in that case, it is going to remove a very last element. So now this is my X that I had, and it has removed this element. Now again, if I'm going to execute this pop, so you will be able to find out that it has removed this one. So again, if I'm going to execute this one, so it has removed this 3. It has removed this 3. Now again, if I'm going to execute this, so it has removed 4. So it has removed 4. So now if I'm going to execute this pop, so it has removed 5. So fine, it has removed 5. Okay. So this is the data that we have, and again, if I'm going to execute, so it has removed SUDH. So fine, it has removed SUDH. Now, so again, if I'm going to execute this pop 4.56, so fine. So priority wise, on top of priority, so it will keep on removing data. Now it's a 234, and now finally it will remove the FSDFS. So basically, like this is how this pop operation is going to work. So one by one, it is going to remove. Now suppose I'm going to give a indexes. So whenever you are going to give a indexes, so here you will be able to find out that this pop takes no argument. But same thing was true inside a list. So in a list, so I was able to give a pop operation and with respect to indexes and without indexes as well. So without indexes, so yes, it was able to remove a data set from a tail. But if I was trying to give an indexes, so yes, even in that case, it was able to pop up the data. But here, so you will not be able to give any kind of a argument or any kind of a indexes in case of a set. So that is not possible. So this is something that you are supposed to understand and just try to practice. Now, so the next thing is like we are trying to give a list inside a list, and then we are trying to pass these things inside a set. And if I'm trying to convert it, that is not possible. So like as we have already discussed that it is going to give you unhashable type list. But if I'm going to remove this part and then if I'm going to execute it, so it's completely fine. So it is not going to complain at all at any point of the time. So this is what you will be able to find out. This is what and how you will be able to get. Now, so fine. Now what I will try to do is, so I would like to access the data set. So suppose if I have a tuple as S, set as S, and then if I wanted to get the data, so if I'm writing like a S of 0, I'm not able to get the data because it always tries to store the data into an unordered fashion. So for sure, with the help of index operation, you will not be able to access the data from the set. But if you have to access the data from a set, so in that case, you are first of all supposed to convert your data set into a list by using a LIST function. And then what you can do is, so then you will be able to perform an operation index wise. So you will be able to do indexing, you will be able to do a slicing operation. So these are the things that you should know and you will be able to figure out basically. So this is all about a set, guys. So the only one thing that you are supposed to remember from the set is like a set is a kind of a collection which always try to hold a distinct element. That's it. So apart from that, so each and every operations are same, and yes, index-wise operation you will not be able to perform. So if I'm not able to perform index-wise operations, so for I in S, if I'm going to do, so let's see. So what happens over here? So it is going to give you our data, but still. So if I'll talk about a S, so S was nothing but so type of S. So type of S was set, but I'm able to perform this iteration operation on top of a set. So these operations are valid, but if I'm trying to do something like S of 0, that is not valid at all. So you will not be able to access the data with the help of a particular indexes, but with the help of for loop, so you will be able to iterate over the data. So this operations is valid, it is possible. Now, so anyone who is having any questions, so please go for that, and then we'll try to start our next study part. Yeah, so I'm just unmuting you, so you can ask a question if you have. Yeah.
Vanshu?
Yeah.
I have one doubt in line number 78. You told that set we can't able to add a object in it. Okay.
Sorry?
But you told that in set we can't able to add objects, right?
No, I never said that in set you will not be able to add the object. So we are adding the object, right? See, I have explained you add method. So if I'm saying that you can't add object, so why I will explain you add method then?
Okay, sorry. Then in set method, how the pop is working? Is it a random?
So yeah, it's a random actually. So if you will see the definition of a set, right? So definition of set itself says that so randomly it is going to show the data, right? Unordered collection of the unique elements.
For the same question, I think the order in which the items have been popped out, it seems to me like it is FIFO order, first in, first out. Does it have
no, it's not a FIFO order, ma'am. So no, it's not a FIFO order, ma'am. So if you will see over here, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yes, it was trying to like extract all the integers, and then it was trying to like extract some of the Boolean value. Then it was trying to extract some of the string. Then again integer, and then again a string, right? So it's not like available into a FIFO order or LIFO order, I would say. So here it is trying to extract the element randomly, but yes, you will be able to observe some pattern. You can say that, okay, so it has removed all the integer in the first place, and then so like all the small integer, and then some Boolean value, then some string, but again that is not an order. So set itself is an unordered element, and you can check that up in a definition of the set itself, unordered collection. So there is no order that it used to follow.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other question do we have?
Yes, Sudhanshu, one question on that part where you were trying to convert a set into list and it was throwing an error that list object is not callable. So
is it?
Yeah, I mean, so which
one?
So we created a list with value.
When we were trying to create a list of list, in that case, so when we were having a nested list, so in that case, it will not be able to convert those nested list into a set, because like a comparison is not possible, right? So in that case, so it was trying to give me element in that way. But apart from that, I think it's working fine. Yeah. So I think when we were having a list of lists, so in that case, it was not working. Otherwise, it's fine. Yeah. Any other question do we have? Okay. So why set cannot have indexes? This is how people have designed set. That's the reason set is not having indexes. But you will be able to iterate over the for loop, and then you will be able to start the element. So although you will not be able to subscribe the element of the set with the help of indexes, but still you will be able to iterate over to it, and then you will be able to get the data set. That is possible. So fine, if no one is having any questions, so we'll move ahead, and then we'll try to understand. Someone is saying that can set takes a list. So yes, I have already explained you set takes a list. If you want me to explain again, so let me explain again. So here is a list that we have, and we are trying to convert this set into a list, and that is completely fine. So I will be able to convert a list into a set. I have started my example from this itself. So fine. Now, like let's try to, someone is asking that what is a real life example of the set? Wherever you have to remove duplicates, use set directly. So it will remove our duplicates by default. Now, so the next element that we are going to discuss, next collection that we are going to discuss, we are going to talk about is a dictionary. So we have seen a tuples first of all. Then second, we have seen we have seen a tuples, and then we have seen like a set. The next element that we are going to discuss, we are going to talk about is a dictionary. So let's try to understand that, and let's try to perform these operations on top of dictionaries. So here, what I'm trying to do is, so I'm trying to create this kind of element. So I'm just using a curly braces, let's suppose. And if I'm using a curly braces and if I'm going to execute it, so by default, you will be able to find out that it is trying to give you a data type as a dictionary. Now, let's suppose if I'm going to store 3 inside this one, and then if we are going to check, things have changed. So now it is telling you that it finds a set. So basically what happens is, so in last example, we have just seen that, okay, so we have seen that, okay, so if I have to create a set, so I can use a simple method set, and I will be able to create a set over here in this way. So I will be able to create a set. That is completely fine. Now, so this is another way of doing the same thing. So you will be able to create a set just by using a curly braces as well. That is fine. But if I'm not having any element inside a curly braces, so by default, it try to denote that as a dictionary, not as a set. This is something that you should remember. You will get to know about that for sure. So fine. Here we have like a dictionary. Now, what is a dictionary? So dictionary is a kind of an entity where it tries to store a data into a key and a value pair, just like an Oxford dictionary that we have been using since our childhood. So as we have already seen that, we always use a dictionary. Even now, some people used to refer, although we have a mobile dictionary, but still. So basically, what happens is in a dictionary, so there will be a word and there will be a meaning, or there will be a synonyms of that. You will be able to find out. Now, so word is basically a key, and its meaning is basically a value. So in the similar way, so you will be able to create a data structure over here inside a Python. So where in a key and a value fashion, so you will be able to store the data, but you will be able to find out, you will be able to figure out that there are so many properties which is available with respect to these things. So property wise, you will be able to find out, or you will be able to figure out that, okay, so key should always be unique. A value could be a repetitive one. And at any point of a time, so you can try to store any kind of a values. Any kind of values means, so value could be a list, a string, tuples, dictionary itself, set itself, doesn't matter at all. So this is the kind of exercise and permutation combination. So we are going to perform over here. So let's try to do that. So dictionary is a very simple data structure which always try to store the data in a form of key and a value pair. Just remember this one as of now, and then we'll try to understand a dictionary part. So here we are trying to create a dictionary. As you can see, that is completely fine. And type is dictionary. It's not set, so don't try to understand that. Okay, fine. So it's a set that I'm talking about. Now, suppose if I'm trying to create a dictionary D, and I'm starting with the curly braces, then what I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to create a key. So key could be anything. So let's suppose I'm trying to create a key is equal to XYZ, and then so column, and then a value is equal to SUDH. So this is how you will be able to create a dictionary. Now, if I'm trying to check a type this time, so this time it is going to give me type as a dictionary for sure. So type as D, and dictionary it is going to give it to me, as we know. Now, so last time, so when I was trying to give one single element, so just an element, so in that case, it will be set. But here, in this case, if you are going to give a key and a value pair, so in this case, it will be dictionary by default. And whenever you're trying to create a key and a value pair, so always key and a value should be separated by a column, not by any other things. So it's completely fine. Now I'm going to create another key. So let's suppose ABC. I'm going to create ABC, and value of that one maybe I can try to give as a KUMAR. So if I'm going to execute it, so it's completely fine. I will be able to get the values. So XYZ, SUDH, ABC, KUMAR. So fine. This is one key value pair. This is another key value pair. Now, so let's suppose what I'm going to do is, so I'm going to create again another key, ABC. This ABC key is already available. I know that, but again, I'm going to create a same key intentionally. Now, so this time, so I'm going to assign some data set. So here, as you can see, we have ABC, and again, we are trying to create a same key. Now, so if I'm going to execute it, so you will be able to observe that. So it has not stored two keys over here, ABC, ABC. Basically, it has updated the previous key. So whenever you try to add a new data, whenever you try to use a duplicates inside a dictionary, so by default, it will try to remove your, like it will try to like override the previous values for a particular key. So fine, I have a ABC and value is KUMAR. Again, I have a ABC, value is this one. And this time what it will try to do is it will try to update it. It will try to update the value of that particular key. So it's completely fine. So I'm able to get the latest value over here. But key should not be duplicate at any point of a time. You are not supposed to create a duplicate key. Even though if you have created, it's completely fine. It will try to override with the latest value that you have. Fine. Now, so again, what I will do is, so I will try to like create a key value pair. I would like to like create a key value pair, and let's suppose I'm trying to change this one ABD, and then so let's suppose value is same. So if I'm going to execute it, so it's not a problem. So value could be a repetitive one. So you can repeat a values, but you can't repeat a key. In a dictionary, you will be able to find out that in a real dictionary, Oxford dictionary, let's suppose if I'm talking about, so you will be able to find out that words are not duplicated, but meaning could possible that for the same word, so we have a meaning, and for some other words also, so we have a same meaning. So same words can be repetitive one. So that is possible into a dictionary, and the similar logic, similar principle. So this dictionary works and this dictionary behaves, I can say. Now, so key wise, if I'm talking about, so let's suppose like if I'm going to give an integer key. Now, if I'm going to execute it, so integer key is possible. String key is possible. Let's suppose I'm trying to give hash over here. If I'm going to execute it, so in this case, you will be able to find out that no, this is not possible. So you can't give a special case character, or maybe if I'm going to give an underscore, that is also not possible. Or if I'm going to give any kind of a special character, so it's not possible. But integers are possible, floating point numbers are possible. So as you can see, I have given a floating point number. This is a possible, but like apart from that, so like any other special case characters are not allowed, and it's not possible at all as a key. Now this is one thing. Then second thing is like as a value again. So let's try to understand this part. So as a key, so suppose if I'm going to give some list, so if I'm going to give list as a key, that is not possible. So you can't give any collection as a key. Suppose if I'm going to give maybe tuples like 1, 2, 3 again. So as a tuples, so you will be able to assign it. Now if I'll try to check this key, so yes, this is a tuples that we have. Now if we are talking about a set, so let's suppose I'm trying to create a set over here, and a set of 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this one, and let's see. So unhashable type set. So for set is not possible as a key over here. Now, so these are the things which is not possible, which I was trying to showcase. You can try to give a blank keys as well. That is completely fine, and then you will be able to get it. That is possible. Now let's talk about a value part. So suppose if I'm trying to create a dictionary, and if this is the dictionary that we have, and if I'm trying to store a value as a list, so as a value as a list is possible. So if I'm going to execute it, so yes, I can store a list as a value. I can try to store a nested list as well as a value. There is no concern that you will be able to find out 2, 4, 5, 6, 6. So yes, I'm able to store a data in a form of nested list or nested list of nested list. That is not a problem as a value. Now, not as a key. Now, so suppose if I wanted to store a data, which is a set data inside this one. So let's see, I will be able to do it or not. So yes, I'm able to do it. So I have applied a set over here, and as you can see, as you know the property of set, so automatically it will try to remove the duplicate. So it has removed the duplicate, and finally this is the data that I'm able to receive. So yes, this kind of operation is possible inside a dictionary values. So inside a dictionary, so you will be able to insert a data in a form of set. Now let's suppose if I wanted to insert a data inside this dictionary as a dictionary itself. So how I can do that? So yes, that is also possible. So dictionary inside a dictionary. So here, let's suppose if I'm trying to do like X, Y, G, and as a key and as a value, so maybe I can take anything. So here you will be able to find out that this is a key and this is the value, and as a value, so I have inserted a dictionary itself. So yes, that operation is particularly possible. So if you will try to look into your slide that I've shared with you, so I'm trying to perform a similar kind of operation. So here in this dictionary, you will be able to find out that I have a key 1, I have a key 2, which is nothing but a string. And then, so inside a key 1, so I have a string, and inside the key 2, so I have like a list over here. I'm trying to use a complex number as a key. That is also possible. So yes, happily it will be able to use it. And then, so I'm just trying to use a dictionary, other dictionary itself. That is also possible. Now, so whenever you have to access, let's suppose, so you are trying to access a dictionary element. So let's suppose I have a dictionary, or here I was talking about a dictionary. So suppose I have to access an element, maybe this element I have to access. So how I will be able to access this element? So what I can do is, so I can try to write like a X, Y, Z. Now, if I'm going to execute it, so XYZ is what? XYZ is basically a key. So like inside a list, so whenever we have to access an element, so we try to access an element by its indexes. So there is no other way, or there is no other provision by which I will be able to access the element. But here, so yeah, so we are able to access element, so like with the help of keys, because there is no provision of indexes that you will be able to find out in a dictionary. So in a list or in other data types, so yes, there is a provision, but here, so we have a key and a value pair. So just you are supposed to give a key, and it will be able to give you the corresponding values. Now, let's suppose I have stored a dictionary inside a dictionary, means as a value. So I have a dictionary itself, and I wanted to get this value. So it's again very simple. So this is the dictionary which it is going to return. Now, if I have to access like other element inside this one, so I can try to write this one, XYZ of XYZ, and in this case, I will be able to access string. So whether it's a string, list, integer, whatever it is, you will be able to access each and everything by using a key. So here inside a dictionary, there is no provision of indexes that you will be able to find out. So don't even try that one. Now, so next thing is like, okay. So I was just, this is the example which I have already mentioned inside your slide. So you can go through that, and you will be able to practice it. Basically, like I'm trying to store collections over here. I'm trying to store list values over here. I'm just trying to access it. So here, there is a dictionary that I have, and like I have a key 1, key 2, key 3. If I'm trying to access my dictionary key 3, if I'm going to execute it, so here's the item that I'm able to receive. Now, if I'm able to get this item, and if this item is having a list, so list in element, so fine, I will be able to access any of the item out of this list by using this indexes. Now, if I'm able to access it, I will be able to perform any kind of operations. Like I'm trying to do like upper operation. Upper means, so I'm trying to access an element. I'm trying to access an element from this one, and then I'm trying to convert it into a upper cases. So it's completely fine. These are the normal operations that we have done. Now, so like addition operation, subtraction operation, manipulation operation. So whatever operations you are looking for, so you will be able to perform those operations. Now, so here is a catch. So suppose like I have to add a new element inside the dictionary. Let's suppose, so I have to create a new key and value pair inside a dictionary. So suppose this is a dictionary that I have. Now inside this dictionary, so I have to add a new element. Now what I can do is, so I can try to call like my dictionary. So my dictionary over here, and let's suppose I wanted to create a new key. So as of now, I have a key 1, key 2, and key 3. So let's suppose I wanted to create maybe XYZ as a key. So XYZ, I know that, okay, it's not available. If I'm going to execute it, it's going to give me error because XYZ is not a key which is available inside my dictionary as of now, as you can see. Now, so what I can do is, so if I have to create a new key, so a new key value pair, I can create in this way. So maybe value wise, I can give a string, I can give a list, I can give a tuples, I can give a set, whatever I want, I can give it over here. So if I'm going to give a list over here, it's completely fine. And then what it will do is, so it will try to add this element inside the existing dictionary. And here is the dictionary that you will be able to find out. So it has added the new element over here. So addition operation or append operation inside a dictionary is very much easy. So you will be able to add, you will be able to append any number of a key and a value pair inside a dictionary in a simplest possible way. So if you are, suppose I have a key one, suppose if I'm trying to give this to key one, so key one is already available, I know that. So in this case, what will happen is it is not going to give you any error. So it is going to override the value, as simple as that. So I have a key one in this place, and if I'm going to write this one, so in this case, the value will be overridden, as simple as that. As we have already discussed that it is not going to create a duplicate key. Duplicate keys are not allowed. Key will always be unique. Value could be duplicated. There is no problem. So here, if you are trying to like recall and if you're trying to assign the values, by default, it is going to override it. So fine, this is something that you should know. Apart from that, so yeah, I'm just trying to show you how to add a new element. So this is the like a thing that you should understand. Now, so I was talking about a nested dictionary. So nested dictionary also you can create. So here, as you can see that I have a dictionary D, I have a key, and this is entire thing is a value. Then inside this one, I have a key again, entire thing is a value. I have a key again, and this is the value. Let's suppose I wanted to access this value. So what I should do? So what I can do is, so suppose like if I have to access a value, so I can try to give like a dictionary key one. So if I'm giving a dictionary key one, so for sure it is going to return this entire thing. So it has returned this entire thing, which is nothing but again a dictionary. Now, so what I can do over here is, so I can try to write like a key and then next key and next key. So in this case, so you will be able to find out this one. Now, so if I'm going to do something like that, so like a sub nest key. So in this case, I will be able to get the values. So it's very easy. So like key value pair wise, you will be able to access each and every values inside a dictionary. Now, so let's talk about some of the inbuilt dictionary methods. So here I have a dictionary, I have a key one, I have a key two, I have a key three, and I have a values as well. So I have a dictionaries and I have its own values. Now, if I'm going to do something like dictionary.keys, so this is the inbuilt method which you will be able to find out keys. If I'm saying dictionary.keys, so by default, what it will try to do is, so it will try to list down all the keys. Whatever keys you have, so it is going to list it down. Now there is a method called as dictionary.values, and in that case, it will be able to list down each and every values which is available. Now, if I'm saying that, okay, find dictionary.items, so it is going to give you a list of tuples of all the items. So basically, like it is here, it is going to show you a data set in the form of tuples. So it is going to tell you that, okay, fine. So this is the list of like a tuples that we have over here. So these are the items which is possible, and these are the items which is available. Now, apart from that, so you will be able to find out many different methods. So like keys is there, pop item is there, update is there. So here, like if I'm talking about a pop, right? So what is going to do? So now, so pop expects at least one argument. So in case of a set operation, we have seen that. So you are not supposed to give any kind of argument in list. So you can give argument or you can leave it. In dictionary, so you are supposed to give at least one kind of a argument over here. And if I'm going to give a key, it is going to pop up this entire thing. Now, if I'm trying to print this dictionary, so let's see what happens. So dictionary is not having a key one. So it has popped up this key one out of the dictionary permanently. So these are the basic methods, these are the basic functions that you will be able to find out in case of dictionaries. And a simple logic behind dictionary is, so dictionary always try to store a data in a form of key and a value pair. That's it and nothing else. So now if we have any questions, so like please go ahead with that and we'll try to answer. I think we have discussed so many things. So it's trying to take as many questions as possible. Yeah, one by one, please.
So in case of a set, we have seen that only unique values are kept there.
Yes, yeah. This is a property of the set by default, right? That's the reason so we generally use set.
Yeah, but if I want to get a data, that what is the occurrence of each value which is duplicated?
That no, so that will not be. So whenever you will try to get the data out of the set, right, it is not going to give you a data which is duplicate. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So basically, what happens is, so whenever suppose I have stored the data inside, I think I have already iterated through the data, right? So suppose this is the set that I'm trying to create over here, and inside that, let's suppose I have a list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5, 1, 1, 1.
Yeah.
Right now, so okay, I have made some mistake. Okay, so here is a set, right? So if I'm
Yes.
going to print S, so for sure it is going to give me this data. Now if I'm going to iterate over the set, so for sure it is going to give me only this data, because
This
set by
data.
default it will try to remove, right? So if I'm
Yes.
going to write for I in S is equal to print I, see, it's a unique element.
Okay, but if you want to get their occurrence count, then
You will not be able to get that in a case of set. So set
Okay.
by default remove the duplicate. So occurrence will always be equal to 1. So there is no other method which is going to really find what is the count, because count is by default is equal to 1 for every element.
Okay, thank you.
Also he said after removing the duplicates, it's giving in ascending order. So is there any
It's not like that.
significant?
It's an unordered collection. So it looks like. So you will be able to find out that, okay, it looks like sometime that, okay, it is giving me to ascending order, descending order.
Can you put in place of 1? In place of 1, you put 5. Just try.
So no, it's not possible. It's a ordered wise, so it try to give you unordered collection. This is a definition of the set, right? So it seems like, it looks like that you are getting the ordered collection, but it's not like that. Try to take a string and an integer pair, you will be able to get that point. I have already taken that when I was trying to explain.
Actually, I tried myself, but it's giving in ascending order. That's what.
Yeah, so no, it's an unordered collection. This is what set definition says. So it seems like it's giving you, but it's not ordered one.
Sudhanshu,
Yeah.
Shiva here.
Go ahead.
Basic doubt, Sudhanshu. See, these are data structures. This list, dictionary, set, and all these things. So, on what basis we have to choose which data structure is required while?
So, why you will choose set, by the way?
No. Set means if you want to eliminate any duplicate. But the thing is that, as per your experience, I'm asking, as per your experience.
No, so whether it's a my experience or your experience, how
No,
does
no.
it matter in case of a programming?
Listen my question completely. So, see, there is a problem statement. So, based on the problem statement, we are designing the problem solution. So, generally, as per I am asking your experience, you will during design time only you will find out here I need set, here I need dictionary.
So I think this question is irrelevant completely, right? So it depends upon the problem statement that you are going to get. There is nothing called as a design time or something when it comes to programming, right? Here we are not talking about the algorithm. In case of algorithm, I think we can talk about this thing, right? But when we are trying to talk about the programming, right? So it depends upon my skill set. So maybe without even using a set, I can try to perform something, right? So I can try to remove all the duplicates. So that depends upon my creativity, that's it, and your creativity when you are trying to do a coding. So it never works in that way. So I think if you have done the programming, so you will be able to understand it. Otherwise, so whenever we'll do a programming, which we are going to do a lot for sure, so then you will be able to understand it. But no, that whatever design thinking that you're talking about, that never works in this case.
Because generally I'm doing now, there's sometimes I'm doing hit and try. Based on, so I'm trying till I'm getting the solution. But during
that is fine. So no one can give you the entire flow or path. So programming is all about the creativity. It's just like a art, I can say. So it's just art. So I can implement my art in my way. You can implement your art in your way.
So any difference is there in optimized between list and setup, between list and tuple? Any optimization is there? I mean, if I
already, so whatever things is written in Python, so it's already optimized. But if you are going to use your own method from your side, so it could possible that it will not be optimized. But yes, whatever is written in a Python, it's optimized already. If you go to the documentation of Python, wait, I'm answering. So if you will try to go through the documentation, so you will be able to find out that all this method is written in your optimized way. Okay.
Hi, Sudhanshu, can you please tell converting the list into a set?
Converting a list into a set, I think it's very easy, right? Converting
Actually, I'm getting some problems. Yeah.
No, this is what I'm doing over here, right?
I'm not. And that's a nested list. If I want to.
No, nested list wise, I have already given the example, right? So you will not be able to do that. So if I have a nested list 1, 2, 3, 4, so for sure you can't do this.
Yes.
I have already explained these things.
Okay, I'm sorry, I missed that.
Too many times. So 2 or 3 times I think I have already explained the same thing.
Okay.
Hello, sir. Sudhanshu. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, sir. How to
Sudhanshu,
create...
I have one. Okay, I have one doubt. Can we use tuples as a key in set?
Can we use tuples?
Tuples as a key in set.
Tuples as a key in a set. Yes, yeah, you can do that. So here is so tuple is a key in a set. I don't think that in a set. Okay, so
but I saw one. I will share one code.
When I told you that in a set, so you can use a key value pair. Is it possible to use a key in a set, like a set, a key value pair into a set?
No, I saw one code. In that code, they are using tuple as a key.
In set.
Yeah, in set. I will share the code.
It might be a dictionary.
This is.
It's a dictionary.
Sorry. Oh, it should be. Sorry.
Yeah, so if you will go through my recording again, the same recording that we have done this one, right? So I have already shown you that particular example where I was taking right guys, everyone? So I have already taken a tuples and I was trying to show you these things and it was working fine for me. So I have already shown you.
Sorry, okay.
Yeah?
So Danshu, you mentioned
keep yourself awake. I think that's more important while joining this class.
Yeah, so if
because I'm trying to cover almost all the permutation combination which could be possible, right? So I'm not leaving anything as of now. Yes.
Yeah, so Danshu, you mentioned like in dictionary we can take mutable type as a key, right? So like that we can use the tuple as a key.
Yeah, so we can use tuple. I have already shown this example, right? So yes, we can use this one.
Question is not about that. Basically, tuple is iterable, right? If you use iterable item as a key, so where we can exactly use that in real world scenarios. Key is iterable, where we can use. Let's say value is normal string or number, but key is iterable one.
No, so basically whenever you will have to access this entire element, right? So you will have to give this entire tuples itself. So whatever data you are using over here, which is an immutable one, so you can use that data as a key. So fine, if I have used tuple as a key, so I will have to give an entire tuple itself. So basically you can try to consider in this way that, okay, so this key that I'm trying to use over here. So here like this whole part is working as a key. If I'm trying to give something like tuples, if I'm going to give a parse tuples and if I'll try to access the data, so for sure it will not be able to give it to me. Now there is no meaning of iterating this particular tuples as a key. There is no meaning that you will be able to find out. There is a provision. That's it. So what you will do by iterating a keys?
Yeah,
nothing, right?
I have the same doubt.
So you will not be able to do anything, but there is a provision that whatever entity that we have, which is an immutable entity, so those immutable entity you can use as a key. That is the only provision.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, if I have a dictionary and there is a key one inside the dictionary and there is a list in the key one. So if I want to pop out a certain element, not the whole key one, but a certain element in the list, which has a key one, can I do that, or I have to write my own program for that?
So basically you will be able to do that one, but yes, first of all you will have to access a key one. Suppose I have a key one over here, and then let's suppose if I have a list in this particular place, so I have like a 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. So like this is a key, let's suppose that I have. So first of all, so which element do you want me to access?
This first, the index 1.
Index 1 element. So you will have to do like a key 1 and then index 1.
And then I have to pop this out, yeah.
So you have to pop this out of what?
I have to pop this first index out. Can I do that?
So you have to pop this first index out. Okay.
Yeah, not the whole key.
Okay, fine. So if I'm going to perform this operation, so this is going to return me a list first of all, and then so what I can do is I can try to call a pop and pop from the index 1, and then what I can do is I can try to update my key 1. So in this way that will be possible. Now if I'll show you my D over here, what has happened? Pop 1. Okay, pop 1 is like taking this one, right? So
ABC.
Okay, so what I can do is, so I can try to store this data into one of the variable. So after popping up, so this key 1, so this is the pop data because it is going to give you the pop data set. So I can try to store D somewhere. So this is the data, this is the key. I can try to store this inside a L, and then L.pop, and then 1. That is completely fine. Now after popping up this element, so what I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to assign L over here. So now if I'm going to print my D, got it?
Okay. Can you share this code?
Yeah, it's fine. You can write it by yourself.
Okay, thank you.
Just try to do permutation. See, coding wise, coding is, like I said, it's just a creativity, right? Keep on typing something simple, and whatever comes in your mind, and keep on implementing all that. It's just a logic, it's just a flow. Just try to build a flow. This is how you will learn a coding. You will not be able to learn a coding by like copy by looking into someone's code. It's my way to write my code, right? So if you will see the different programmers, so you will be able to find out that they used to write according to different way. Everyone is having its own pattern they used to develop. So if you have to develop your own, so in that case, just try to create a flow in a brain. That's it. Nothing else. It's not about how much you know actually. So what is the logic that you are able to form? Basically, it depends upon that. So generally, I advise people to like write their own code. Don't even try to copy and paste the things which I have shared with you. So whenever you're trying to practice my slides, so just try to open up one blank slides parallelly and then try to type everything over there. That will be much more beneficial, and just within a 2 week, just give a 2 week of time. It doesn't take years. Just give a 2 week of time and you will be able to find out that you are very much comfortable with coding. And again, Python is a kind of a language which is nothing. Python is one of the easiest possible language. If you'll start doing a coding in C, C++, you will be able to find out that how hard C, C++, and Java and Scala is as compared to Python. But Python, it's nothing. So just try to practice it. Yeah, it doesn't take much time.
Hey, Sudhanshu.
Go ahead.
If we have a list of say 10 key value pairs,
yeah,
and I want to extract first 5 key value pairs, is there any inbuilt method to do that, or
what is that? Repeat your question again.
Suppose I have a list of 10 key value pairs.
List of 10 key value pairs.
Yeah.
10 key, 10 values.
10 keys and 10 corresponding values.
Okay, fine.
And if I want to extract, let's say, first 5 key value pairs.
Okay.
Is there any inbuilt method to do that, or I have to extract the keys in the list and then?
No, there is no inbuilt method which is available. So like slicing operation kind of a things you are saying, right?
Yes.
List slicing. No, there is nothing which is available. So the thing what you can do is, so you can try to like list down all the keys, and then you will have to iterate over to it, and then you will be able to access it. That's it. That's the only way. There is no like default method which is available.
Also, we are able to follow you all the permutations, but in dictionary as a key, tuples can be used, not list or everything, right?
Yes,
so
this is what I said. Yeah.
How to keep that in memory? Because I think
no, it's not like that. See, generally what happens is, so I'm teaching people since a long time, right? So when I have started teaching, right, 4 years back or 5 years back, so at that point of time, even I was not able, because at that point of time I was a programmer. That is one thing, right? But like whenever you work as a programmer, right? So you like things will not come in your mind unless and until you don't require, right? Suppose if you give me a problem statement, so I'll just like my thoughts will work around those problem statement. But when we used to start teaching someone, right? So for sure, like 400 people are there. Even if there are 100 people, right? So like we have 100 brains, 100 different brains, right? Now 100 people will ask like different kind of questions, and I have to answer all those questions. So for sure, like I have to try all those things, right? So whatever things, I can't say no to you because you will think that, okay, fine, I don't know these things. That's the reason I'm saying no, right? This is what a people mindset is. And in this way, so I have like practiced, and I got to know like, and like everything I remember now, right? So because in every classes, like as of now, even like 8 to 10 classes I used to take different classes. So like in this way, 16 to 20 like lectures I used to take in a week. So basically, like I'm teaching again and again, same thing into machine learning, deep learning, NLP, computer vision, right? So in this way, I used to remember. So even if you are doing the same thing, just try to repeat it again and again and again, right? I think it's possible to remember. You're not supposed to by heart anything. I don't even recommend, I don't even ask anyone to like remember even a single things. No, not at all. Leave it, leave everything. Just try to practice. Okay, guys. So moving ahead. So let's try to like understand something new, something interesting. So the next thing that we are going to talk about is a function. Okay, before that, so I have to talk about, I think, dictionary comprehension operation. So let's try to understand it. So as we have seen a list comprehension operation, so list comprehension operation is nothing but, so like suppose we have to perform some operations, and instead of writing a multiple line of code, so if we want to write only a single line of code, and in a single line if I had to perform those operations, so how I can do that? So that I will try to achieve in a with the help of a list comprehension. As so like list comprehension we have already seen. So in a single line, so I was trying to write like a line of a code, and same thing you will be able to do in case of a dictionary comprehension. The only difference is the notation of a dictionary and a set or a list. Or the second thing is like dictionary always creates a key and a value pair, whereas list try to create always a flat element. So fine, let's try to understand it. So suppose like I wanted to create a dictionary where key will be 0, 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the values will be a square of the keys if there is a requirement that I have. Or maybe if I wanted to create a dictionary where, so key will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And a value will be, I can say that it will be like a 0, 0, 0, 0 for everyone. So I can do it very easily just within a single line. So here what I'm trying to do is, so I'm trying to write like a for x in range. So just try to look into this part of code. So I'm just trying to write like a for x in range 10. So like here a range 10 means what? So range 10, as we know that it is going to generate a data starting from 0 to 9. So find for x in range 10 here in this particular place, and it will keep on generating 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and so on till 9, as we know. Now, so I'm trying to iterate over to it, and then I have written x. So x is nothing but, so in a first iteration, the value of x will be equal to 0, as we know that. And in a second iteration, value of x will be equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So it will try to extract the data from the range. Now, so I'm trying to write like a dictionary. So I'm trying to write like a dictionary comprehension, and here I'm trying to say that, okay, fine. So x colon 4, or maybe I can try to write like a x colon x square. So if I have to create a square, so I can write like this one. So in this way, you will be able to find out that it has created a key and a value pair, key and a value pair, key and a value pair. But so key is basically data that you are able to extract from the range, and a value is nothing but the square of the key. So here you will be able to find out that value is nothing but the square of the key. Let's suppose I wanted to create a dictionary where like a value will be maybe a list, I can say. So here, not a dynamic list, SUDH or something like that. So yes, I can do that as well. Now, so if I wanted to create a dictionary which could have like tuples as a data type, so that is also possible. So any kind of a things is possible over here. So I'm just trying to show you like how you can write a code just into a single line. So yeah, that is also possible. So this is the kind of a things that you will be able to create. So you can try to write a logic as well. So maybe if I'm looking for something like a x over here, so value, then x square possible, x square, or maybe the third elements I'm looking for x of q. So that is also possible. So I think I made a mistake. Yeah. So that is also possible. So here we have a key and we have a value. So value wise, so we have a value, same values, then a square and then cube. Same value, a square and then cube. So this is the kind of operation that you will be able to perform very easily just within a single line of a code inside a dictionary comprehension. If you find out that, okay, fine, so these things are like a too complex, in that case, what you can do is instead of writing a dictionary comprehension, you can try to go ahead with the normal coding style, and in this way, so you will be able to write the same kind of a code. There is no differences. So it's just about you, like how you are going to take it up. Now, so this is all about the dictionary comprehension. Now moving to the next section, so where we'll try to talk about a function. So function is one of the very much important concept that you should know end to end, because like whenever we'll try to start our actual coding, so each and every time, so we'll try to understand and we'll try to see so many functions. So function is very much important. So now let's talk about a function. So as of now, you must have seen that I have used a list, list, set, tuple, dict, or like a keys and the values, or upper, or I have used a lower, or I have used a length function, I have used a type function. So these are the many functions that we have used. So these are the functions or the methods which was already available inside a Python dictionary or the Python library, whatever like library that we are using. So these are the functions which is already available inside a Python. Now, so let's suppose like if I have to create my own function, because whatever functions are available, like types or keys or values or set, whatever function is available, so someone has written those functions for us. Now, so if I have to create my own function, so how I will be able to create my own function? So we'll try to understand that part. Apart from that, so like a function always try to increase the reusability. So suppose if I have written something, so you're not supposed to write the same thing again and again. What I can do is I can try to give you my function. You will be able to call it like you are able to call any other functions from the Python libraries, and then so without writing a function, so you will be able to like execute, or you will be able to achieve so many things. So this is what happens in case of functions, I would say. So fine, let's try to understand meaning of the function, and let's try to understand that in what in all cases I will be able to use a function. Now here, so I will try to start from the very basic. So how you can create a function, and then like what is the different kind of functions that you will be able to create. So for creating any kind of function inside a Python, so you are supposed to start with a keyword called as def. Def means definition. So you are supposed to start with a keyword called as def for any kind of function. So suppose if I have to create like a tuples kind of functions, or maybe like a set kind of functions, because someone has written that functions and someone has implemented all the logic inside that one, that's the reason it's behaving in that way. Suppose if I have to create a function called as def. Now, so suppose like I have to create a function called as test. So this is the first function which I am trying to create over here. So find def and then function name. Now this name could be anything. So if you wanted to give like XYZ, you can give XYZ, doesn't matter at all. It's my function, I can give any name. Now, so def and then XYZ, and then you are supposed to give a bracket. Now what we can do is, so we can try to give a column over here. So after giving this thing, so we can give a column over here. Now, so after giving a column, so I can try to hit enter. And what I can do is I can try to write some print statement. So like I can write like this is my first function. So fine, this is my first function. This is what I have written over here. Now, so this is a function which I have created. Now, if I have to call this function, if I have to ask this function to give me some output, so what I can do is, so I can try to write like a XYZ and then this one, and whatever definition we have written, whatever things we have written inside the body of the function. Okay, always make sure that you maintain this indentation. That is one thing. And whatever you have written inside the body of a function, so yes, I am able to receive that particular part. That is completely fine. So this is what I'm able to get. Now, so I can try to store this output maybe inside some of the variables. So let's suppose I'm created a D variable, and then I can try to store it inside that one. And then if I'm trying to call like a D, yes, I will be able to get this output. So yes, inside D, so it has stored these things. Now, if I'll try to check basically the type of this function return. So basically whatever it has returned. So if I'll try to check a type of this one, so it will be able to give me a none type. So as you can see, it is able to give me a none type. Now, what is the meaning of none type? So basically, I have used a print statement. So print statement, wherever you are going to use. So by default, print statement is going to give you a none type. So here, if I'm going to show you, so print statement always going to give you a none type in any cases. So here it is going to give you a none type. It's as simple as that. So now if I wanted to perform some concatenation operation, suppose like this is the none type which I am able to get, that is completely fine. Now, so like if this is a return type of the function XYZ, and so this is the return type. Generally people think that, okay, fine, it's a string, and the people makes always a blunder kind of a mistake. So here I'm trying to append something, so you will be able to find out that no, I'm not able to append a none type and a string. The only reason is print is going to return you a none type. Now, so like we can try this approach, we can try this method actually. So we can try to do a typecasting. So if we are trying to do a typecasting, so in that case, what you will be able to find out is like it is going to convert a none type into a none. So it is not going to typecast your actual data set. So you are going to lose your data, and whatever primitive operations you have to perform. Suppose like I have to convert my data into upper cases or lower cases. I will not be able to convert those things into upper cases or lower cases if I'm using a print as a return. So that's a problem with the print statement. So print statement is being used to print something into a console, or for debugging, I can say for the debugging purposes, generally we use print statement. But so if I wanted to do some manipulations on a data which I'm able to gather from a print statement, so even if we are trying to convert into a str string, but still you will be able to get a none type over here in this particular place. Now, but people are using prints since a very long time, but still people is not like many of you are not aware about this part, that print returns a none type, as you can see over here. Now, so if I wanted to enclose this data within quotes, let's try to understand that what happens. So, okay, this is a mistake. Yeah. So now if I'll try to check this one, type of this, so you will be able to find out that the type of this one is a string. Type of this one is a string. Now if I'll try to store these things inside something, so you will be able to find out that it has stored this entire information. So like it is considering even your print method as a part of a string. So basically it's not an actual data which I was looking for. So I was looking for generally only this data set, but yeah, the thing which I'm able to get is like this entire thing. So I'm trying to prove one point over here, that print always returns a none type. And if some data set is a none type, so you will not be able to perform any kind of a primitive operation like upper class, lower class, transformations, and all those operations you will not be able to perform. So if you have written some method, if you have written some functions where you are going to return a print, so in that case, for sure, forget about any kind of a manipulation in a later stage. You will not be able to do that. It is not supported inside. So it's not supported if you are using a print statement. Now to do that, to avoid this thing, so generally what we generally use is, so we use a return statement. So even in any other languages, so we are using a return statement. So here, if instead of writing these things, what I can do is, so I can try to write maybe like return, return, and if I'm going to execute it, that is completely fine. Now if I'm going to call xyg over here, yes, this is the things which I'm able to get. And now if I wanted to check a type of this one, so suppose a type of this one, if I wanted to check, so by default this is giving you a str string. Now if I wanted to convert, or if I wanted to perform any kind of operation on top of this one, so let's suppose dot so it should basically like work, and as you can see, so I'm able to convert my data into a upper cases or any kind of operation. So any kind of operation that we have seen so far, so forth. So every operations will be applicable over here if you are trying to use a return, because return always try to return you the as it is data set. Now suppose if I'm trying to write a return, so maybe like I'm trying to return like a 1 plus 4. So it is going to return basically a 5, and if you try to check a type over here, so by default, so it is going to give you a type as a integer. So this is what happens in this particular case. So by default, type is an integer which I am able to receive. So instead of using a print statement, because as we already know that print statement is going to give you a none type, so it's always better if you are going to return something, because you will do some operation inside a inside a function, and for sure functions should give you some return. Because if I'll talk about a length function, so length function always try to give me return as a number of the element inside a particular collection. So in a similar way, so if I'm trying to do something with respect to a function, so it should be able to return me something, and this is how it happens. So here we are trying to return like a 1 plus 4, which is nothing but it's a 5. So it is going to return. Now, so it could also possible that I can try to return a multiple element. So here I can try to return like a SUDH. Now, so if I'm going to execute this thing, so return type will be a tuple. So this is the all these things it is going to return. Now, if I look into these things, so it is going to return this entire things in a form of tuples. Now, what I can do over here is, so I can try to store these things into a different variable, maybe a comma b comma a comma b comma c comma d. So I have a 4 variables. Now, so it is going to store a 4 inside a 5 inside a b, 6 inside a C, and like SUDH inside a D. So you can return a multiple data as well. So you will be able to return a multiple collection, multiple data set, multiple string, whatever you wanted to return, you can just return it. As you can see, like A is equal to 4, it is going to return, and yes, it's completely fine. If I wanted to print a D over here, so I can try to print a D over here. If I'm not giving a 4 variable, in that case, maybe I can try to give 1 variable, and in that case also it is completely fine. So it will it will take a tuples, means it is having all the elements. Now, so maybe I can try to use B over here. Maybe I can try to see, it's working fine. So instead of giving a data type, so suppose like I wanted to get only one data at a time. So I don't want to get all the like a multiple data set from the tuples. I don't want to extract those data. So in that case, what I can do is, so I can try to write like a B and underscore underscore underscore. So underscore 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 is a placeholder. So this is like for the empty data. Now if I'm going to write like something like an underscore, so I'm going to get like a last underscore values. That's it. So underscore is basically a placeholder. So if you don't want to assign any other variable, if you wanted to just leave as it is, if you just are looking for this return. So sometime you will feel that. So function is going to return you multiple things, but I'm just looking for one. So in that case, what I'll do is I'll just try to write a variable over there. Unnecessarily, I'll not create any other variable. This is just optimized programming the pattern. Otherwise, you can try to you can try to create multiple variables. Even that is fine. That is not a problem. But yeah, this is also a coding paradigm that you should understand. You should learn. Because some people, when I used to write a code, so some people have written code in this way. So if you have to understand that, you should not get confused. You should know that, okay, fine. So this is the meaning of this particular set of a code. So this is all about, I can say, a difference between a return and a print statement. So return wise, return can return any number of the element. So it depends upon you how you are going to catch those elements. And if I'm using a return, so return always returns the actual data. I can try to return maybe let's suppose a list as well. So maybe 1, 2, like 3, 4, 5. That is completely fine. So if I'm going to execute this, it is going to give me issue for sure, because it was expecting 4. I just have one list. So here I'm just able to extract this particular list that I'm trying to return. That is also possible in this particular cases. Now, so yeah, you return wise, you can try to call some other function as well. So maybe some other function like length, I can try to call over here, or likewise you can call any other function that you have created, and it is going to return same kind of a things to you. So return wise, so let's try to write maybe a print. Now, so even that is fine. So you will be able to return that as well. So you can call a function inside a function. You can return a function from the function. You can try to take any number of argument inside the function. So now let's try to understand it. So suppose, so we have written a function as of now, and so far so forth. We know that how to create a function, how to give a name, and what is the signature. And I'm trying to write like a very simple function over here. Now, so what I can do over here now is, like, I'm trying to create a function xyz. Now I can take an argument. Suppose if I wanted to take an argument like a comma b, because in Python, in any other programming languages, you will be able to find out, especially into a Java. So if we are trying to create like a function int, and then suppose a function name is test, so you are supposed to give a data type. So integer a, or like string b, and something like that. And then you are supposed to start your definition. But in Python, so this is not a provision that you will be able to find out. So you are not supposed to do something like that. So what you are supposed to do is, so you're just supposed to give like a variable name and then leave it. And whatever operation you wanted to do, so you will be able to perform this operation. Suppose if I have given a variable name a and b, and what I can do is, so I can try to write like a plus b in this particular place. So a plus b. So it is going to return what? It is going to return a plus b. Now if I'm going to call xyz, if I'm going to call, so what has happened? Okay, so if I'm going to call xyz over here, Okay, so if I'm going to call XYZ over here, so you will be able to find out that it is going to give me some complaint. It is saying that, okay, fine, so you are supposed to use a 2 argument, but you have not used 2 argument. So if you will look into the definition of the function that we have given. So in the definition of the function, so we have given that no. So like it will require A and B. So if I'm supposed to pass A and B, basically. So if I'm going to pass like some value of A and B, 3,4, so it is going to give me 7. It could possible that I can try to pass maybe a SUDH, and then maybe I can try to pass like a KUMAR. And if I'm going to execute it, so yes, this is the data that you will be able to get because I have used a plus operator. So if both the data set is a string, it will try to perform the concatenation operation. If it is an integer, so in that case, it is going to perform arithmetic operation, as simple as that. So basically, like you can try to create a function. So where it will try to understand, it will try to take the arguments and then it will try to perform different kind of manipulations. Now, so here, like it could also possible that instead of providing a data in a runtime, so I can try to provide a data there itself. So if I'm going to execute, if like this is the function that I have, and let's suppose like I'm trying to execute this one. So you will be able to find out that I have just passed one argument. One argument value was already there. So in this case, it is going to give me 8. So 4 I have already passed and 4 was already there. So 4 plus 4 is equal to 8. It could also possible that I can try to override it. This time it will be 12. So it will not try to take the default one which I have given. So you can create even a function and you can try to pass an argument inside the function where you can provide a default value. So if someone is not providing a values, in that case, it will take a default. And this is there is so many functions people have created inside of Python libraries which behaves in a exactly similar way. So you can try to provide a default like a data, and then so function will behave in that particular way. So this is like again one of the aspects of the function that you are supposed to understand. Now, so what else? Okay, so before moving to the next part, so let's take some questions. I think that is important, and then I think we can take it ahead. We have discussed again so many things at a time. Yeah, guys, go ahead.
Sudhanshu,
One by one, really better. Yeah.
Sorry. One question. Actually, it's about tuple. Sorry for late question. See, some pre-built functions I have seen there will be a lot of values in the tuple, but ended with comma again. So even if you put comma or not,
question is not clear.
Sorry, I will again repeat again. I have seen some pre-built functions having the tuple. Okay.
Okay.
Tuple having multiple values and end with comma again. After the comma, there is no value. So is there any?
So basically, that is a dimension that you used to see. So basically, you will be able to see this this kind of function into a NumPy. So in NumPy, so yeah, so basically that is just a notation of the 0-dimensional array, nothing else.
Oh, okay.
Just a notation actually.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
You will see these things again in my NumPy class. So I'll show you.
Yeah, Sudhanshu, when I created a function and instead of typing function name without parentheses, it returned something like function underscore main.
Object. It is going to return an object of the function. I'll show you. So like you're saying that whenever you're going to call only XYZ, right? In this case.
Yes. So
yeah.
like,
So
is there anything
actually.
like we need to understand? Like,
yeah. So no, it's just a function object. It is going to return nothing else. So just a function object which you can't use it. So if you have to use the function, for sure you are supposed to call with a signature.
Okay.
Hi, Sudhanshu.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I just want to want you to perform the placeholder operation which you did it earlier. Just
sorry.
Placeholder operation. You have passed some b ___ because to XYZ. So I did not understand that. Can you please repeat?
Okay.
That?
So see, the thing is like if I'm trying to create some function, like suppose def I'm trying to create def test, let's suppose, right? And then if I'm trying to return something, so suppose I'm returning a multiple elements, right? So I'm returning a multiple element over here. So if I'm going to call a test in this particular case, can I say that it's going to return tuples? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So suppose if I have to like access these things into a single variable, so can I say that A will be having a tuples? Agree?
Yeah.
Agree? Okay. Now, so suppose like I don't want to hold all this data into a single variable. So can I say that I can try to hold inside a multiple data set as well? Multiple variable A, B, C. So A means 4. So basically A. So A will hold 4, B will hold 5, C will hold 6. Fine?
Okay.
Yeah. So this is fine, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay,
suppose
fine.
in this case,
So
if we have given only AB, so what will happen?
So it is going to give you error in that case for sure. Yeah. So basically what I can do is, so if suppose I don't want to create a variable, right? I don't want to create a variable at all. In this case, what I wanted is I wanted to give some dummy data or some placeholders, I can say. So in this case, I can give a placeholders. I can give a placeholders even over here. Suppose I'm just looking for a middle values. People who are making a noise, right? So please try to keep yourself on mute. Otherwise, I will be happy to remove you immediately. And who sits with the children, man? They don't have, people don't have a same at all. Okay, so here what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give like a underscore, and then I'm trying to give a variable name, and then I'm trying to give underscore. So basically, let's suppose I don't want to waste my variables. I don't want to write A, B, and C. And the thing is, I'm just looking for the middle value, right? So I just wanted to access a middle value. Suppose I have done some operation over here. Suppose length of maybe a list. I'm trying to calculate in this particular place, right? Some operations. Let's suppose I'm trying to perform 2, 3, something like that. 4, right? So I'm just interested into the middle value. Some function is returning the 3 values, but yeah, I'm just interested into the middle value. So what I'll do is I'll just try to create a variable for the middle one, and the rest for the rest part. So I'll just try to give the notation. That's it. So are you able to understand this part?
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
It's fine, right? Clear?
Yep.
Okay.
I have a question.
I have a question.
Can we assign null to any object?
Sorry?
If we don't assign value to an object, can we assign, can we check for, is there in none check? Is there a need to do a none check when we get?
Sorry, is it need to do the?
So like in Java, right? If you are not having, let's say you can get a null pointer exception if you're not validating the references.
If you are not assigning a value to the references, then you will get a null pointer exceptions. Yes.
So in this case, do we need to check for that?
No,
it is
you are not supposed to do that. No, it's completely fine. You're not supposed to do that. Okay.
Okay. And if the method conditionally returns 1 value or 4 values, let's say it's returning 3 values, like you were using underscore for taking only 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 4.
Yeah.
So what if the return is conditional? It returns 2 values or 4 values. How will the underscore work in that case?
So basically in that case, so like if it is going to return sometime 2 values, sometime 3 values, sometime 10 values, right? So you're not supposed to write like underscore in that case. Otherwise, first of all, you will have to check what is the total number of returns, and then you can try to give the placeholder. Or else what you can do is, so at any point of a time, doesn't matter how many values it is going to return. So you can try to hold inside the tuples, right? So suppose if I'm trying to return line 10, 45 and all those things, so it is going to give you the tuples, right? So now whatever next operation that you have to do, you can try to perform on a tuples.
Hello, Sudhanshu.
This is the approach, yeah. Go ahead.
Can we perform loops in a function?
So you can perform any operation in a function. I'll talk about that. So as of now, I'm just talking about the basic definition of the function, but yes, I'll discuss these part as well.
Okay.
As we saw the benefit of using return statement over print statement. So in the last session we saw split function, right? It returns a list on strings. So do we need to be careful while explicitly typing what we want from the function, like return
No, it
type
depends upon your column statement, right? Suppose I'll ask you that if I try to write a function which will return me a list, so you will write a function in that way, right? So it depends upon my requirement.
Yeah.
It depends upon my requirement. So suppose if I'm talking about set, right? So someone has written a set function, agree?
Yeah.
Someone has written a set function, right?
Yes.
Then only you are able to call it and you are able to pass a variable inside that one, right? So basically, like someone has written a set function in such a way that it should return a set itself. So fine, set function whenever you're going to call set, but in between, so what operation it is supposed to do? It is supposed to find out all the duplicates, remove it, and then try to keep the unique element. Agree? Someone has written that. That's the reason. So we are able to do that. Use that set operation in a similar way. So it depends upon my need that what kind of a data I'm looking for in return.
Okay.
Hi Sudhanshu, my query is if there are multiple, you're returning multiple variables, so 8, 9, 4, 5, and after that, if there is a string, what kind of type would it return?
By default, it will be able to understand that as a string. So if I'm going to like access this last element, right?
Yeah.
So let's suppose I'm trying to write like a comma, or I can write like a placeholder as well. A comma, B comma, C, D, E, right?
Yeah.
Now type of E will be by default string.
No, I'm asking you about the test function. Type of test.
Type of test, if you are going to return, then what do you think? What should be the type?
Tuple.
Exactly. Yeah. It is returning to us, right, by default. So tuples.
Sir, I have shared my code with you for a function.
Okay.
It is throwing invalid index when I'm trying to return to variables.
What is the function that you have written?
Adding to and subtracting to.
Invalid syntax, ma'am. You are supposed to use this one. See, it's fine.
Okay.
Hi, Sudhanshu. My
So can we have more than one return statement in a function?
No, you can't have a more than one return statement in a function.
Hi, Sudhanshu. If you want to, if I am to give the list that is user defined, so how can I give from input function? I tried actually, but it is not working.
Is it? I don't think so. I think you have not tried in a proper manner. So okay, but what is your question? So
yes, I want to give I want to take input from user as a list.
Okay, input from the user as a list. This is what you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
So from the keyboard input you're looking for, or from user input?
Yeah. Keyboard input.
Okay, keyboard input you're looking for. Fine, not a problem. So what is the function for that?
Input function.
Then
actually you take outside of that function and put it inside the outside the test function and pass it through the test function by taking the user by taking the list from the user and pass it through the test function.
What is your final requirement? Just tell me, I'll do that.
Means I want to know how we can take as a input from a list as a form of list.
Okay, fine. So what I'll do is, so instead of taking a user, so fine, I'll just try to give a input from here itself. Let's see this one. So fine, let's suppose I'm passing list over here, right? Now I have to write for I in A, right? And print maybe I plus 1, let's suppose, right? I plus 1, let's suppose. It's fine. Now, so I can try to call a test function. So tst, and then inside that, so I can try to provide 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever it is. Is it fine?
No, sir, not that. Sir. I'm asking us how can we take as we take integer from input that from an input function. How can we produce one list? That's what I'm asking.
How we can produce a list, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So how we can produce a list? So as we know that input is going to return you what?
In string.
A string, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm going to execute it, so at any point of a time, input is going to give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, something like that, right? So this will be nothing but the string in this case, right? Okay. So maybe in this case, what I can do is, so I can try to give I can try to take a for loop basically. So I will try to keep on taking an input from the for loop, and I will keep on appending inside a blank list. That is possible. So maybe I can try to write for I in range, right? Like 6, let's suppose. 5 times you will ask me for this one, right? And here, let me interrupt it. Okay, so for I in range I can take, right?
Yeah.
And I in PUT, so input wise I can ask for the input, whatever input I'm going to get, so I can try to hold inside the variable. And then so L dot append, I can try to create an append what? So APPEND, append. Append what? Append A all the time. And here in a beginning, so I can try to create one empty list in this particular place. So L is equal to empty list, right? So in this way, what happens is, so if I'm trying to like, it will ask me for the inputs. Suppose 4 I have given, 6 I have given this one, and maybe I have given this, right? Then I have given this one, then I have given this one. Now, so finally, if you will look for a L, so here L is nothing but this thing. So are we able to create a list?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now do whatever you want then. Put it inside the function or whatever. Right. This is how you can create a list. Yeah. Go ahead.
Hello.
Sudhanshu,
Yeah.
what is a set argument
One
and
by
keyword?
one. Sorry.
Argument and keyword argument. What is in set?
I think we'll talk about that. Args and keyword args. Yeah.
So hello.
Yes. Go ahead.
Mapping. Yeah, Sudhanshu, I got a new system, but after installing my Python, it's giving me error when I try to run my program.
Okay, so try to join a document session, right, on Thursday. We'll try to clarify that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe with a screenshot, drop me a message, mail.
I should drop you a mail.
Yeah, from Canvas, from your dashboard. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So dictionary is like a mapping, right? We can assign a key for different
sorry?
values. Dictionary is like we can use it as a hash table, right? Mapping.
No, I'm not able to get your question actually. I think there is a disturbance in our backend.
No.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Can you check my message?
Okay. Who's that?
Sushant.
Hello, Sudhanshu.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can we use method overloading?
It's a part of OOPS programming concept, right? So we have not discussed yet OOPS programming concept. So when that will come into picture, so yes, I will talk about that, and then I'll tell you whether overriding or overloading is possible or not. Yeah. As of now, we are talking about just a basic primitive functions.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So is there any kind of main function in Python?
No. Yes, there is a main function which comes into a picture. So I'll show you that thing in your first Python project.
Okay, so thank you.
Yeah. There is a main function, but it's not like a Java actually. So it's like a public static void main function. So it's not like a Java. So like definition and meaning of a main function in Python is a little bit different. I'll talk about that. Yeah, go ahead.
Sudhanshu, while iterating through a for loop in a dictionary, is it possible to print only the keys or a selective pair of P keys, but not the element?
No. So actually, whenever you have created a dictionary, right? So what you will have to do is, so you can try to get all the keys. Suppose like if I have a, I think I must be having a dictionary. No, there's no dictionary. Okay, created then. So KUI1 is equal to maybe this one, and then like KUI2 equal to this one, right? So I can try to write like a d dot keys. Yeah, d dot keys. Now, so what are you looking for?
So I want to print just key 1 and key 2. Okay, and
yeah, that is possible.
And it is also possible, I guess, to print the elements also individually by not printing the
values,
key
right? Yeah, values is possible. So values is like a method as available. So you can see over here. So you will be able to get just a list of values. Or if you are looking for key and values as a tuple, so there is a method called as items, and you will be able to get a key value pair as a list of the tuples.
So what is the command for values you showed?
VLUs. There is no command you are supposed to remember. See, do one thing, d dot tab, simple. Now, values is there, keys is there, item is there, right? Simple.
Okay.
So don't remember
and one more
anything.
query actually, Sudhanshu. I mean, there are a lot of functions and these type of things. Is it possible to get, these documents or list of functions?
No, document, don't look for the document. How many functions you will be able to remember? Just practice it. So every time just try to press a tab and then start typing those things. So that's the best way. Not even a single function you are supposed to remember. Yeah. These are very simple ones. So for the first time, you might be looking at these functions. That's the reason. So it's difficult for you to understand. But yeah, if I'll talk about like after some time, after 2 weeks, if you'll keep on practicing these things, so I think it will not be a big deal at all for you. Yeah.
Okay.
Sudhanshu, I have a question for you.
What is the difference between return and call function? I mean, in a function, when you're trying to get output, or sometimes you type return and sometimes you type call.
Something gets What was the question? Return and call.
Return and call.
No, so simple. So basically, I'm trying to call the function. I'm just trying to call this function over here. This is the test function, and I'm trying to execute it over here. So by giving the signature, whatever signature I've given over here, this is called a function call. Basically, return means whatever function is going to give you as an output, that is called as a return. Simple. Whatever thing any function will return me something, right? It is called as a return on a function call. Yeah.
Sudhanshu.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, in Python, we have also seen that there are some non-callable functions or methods. So how can we create those?
Non-callable method and function, I think I'll talk about that in a future class. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Any other questions that we have?
Sudhanshu, I shared my question on your private chat. Please answer that one because I cannot unmute. My child will be disturbing.
Okay. What is that? So, where is your question?
I will ask. Can we make an anonymous function in Python?
Yes, anonymous function is possible, and we are going to talk about a lambda operation. So this is a part of the slide itself. I think if you have a slide, so you can go to the go down, and then you will be able to get that one. So whatever you can think of, right? I have already mentioned a slide. Don't worry. Sooner or later it will come into picture. See, I'm talking about anonymous function, lambda function over here, right? So many times. So yes, it will come into picture.
Sudhanshu, is there any limit on number of elements in set?
No, ma'am. So there is no limit on a number of elements on a set.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So fine, guys. If you don't have any question, yeah, go ahead.
If you store a value in a set, like Boolean as well as 1, you said Boolean will be stored as a 1. If I store a Boolean and 1, how would store it? What will be returned?
Got it?
Okay, we'll take it as a 1.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sudhanshu?
Yeah.
Yeah, my function return 4 values. Okay.
Okay.
I'm using storing one value by using one variable and remaining by using placeholders. Okay.
Okay.
But I'm accessing the placeholder value by.
So it will give you the last one. It will give you the last one.
Yes, but I want to remaining value. How?
No, so you will not be able to get it. So placeholder is basically like just a representation, right? So placeholder means if you are using 3 or 4 placeholders, it will always try to store the final values. Now, if you wanted to access all the values, so for sure, either you should give a one variable or you can give all the different variable for all the 4 returns.
If you give all the variables, there is no issue.
Yeah, there is. So or else one single variable, or else placeholder wise, you will just get the last one. There is no other way.
How do we use a if condition in a dictionary comprehension?
How we can use a if condition? Try to use it and then let me know. I think same question someone has asked me in a list, right?
Yeah, the previous question where you use the set 1, 2, 3, 4, true.
Yeah.
If you write true first, it will return true, not 1, I guess.
Yes, yeah, it should be in general. This is what I'm assuming.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's one more thing. 1, 2 in the same question. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then last to put false.
Okay. How it is going to make a difference?
False is coming first.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Next question, please. Okay, guys. So if no one is having any questions, so what you can do is just try to practice as much as possible, because in today's class we have discussed so many things. Try to solve your question, and again we are not done with the function as of now. So we have to discuss many things into a function. I will try to show you some of the properties of the function, like what is iterator, what is a generator, what is the iterable properties of the functions, and many things, many more things I'm going to talk about in this entire slide. So this entire slide is full of different kind of function, a complex one. So in next class, so this is what we are going to talk about, 2.1.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm saying something. Listen.
Sorry.
Yeah, so just try to practice each and everything and try to go through this slide. And someone has messaged me in my YouTube that they are able to see some of the previous class videos and they are able to see some of this class videos, and they are confused basically, and they are not able to find out. So I don't think that that is a case, because in my dashboard, so the dashboard that I have shared with you, so in that one, so yes, there is a previous batch recording, because many of you wanted to go through these topics in a fast track. That's the reason. So we have already given you a previous batch recording. That's the purpose. Now even your batch recordings is available. So as your classes is going on, so we are keep on uploading, and we have already maintained this indentation. So I'm not able to understand that where is a confusion, because clearly if you will look into any of the tabs, so date wise you will be able to find out each and everything date wise as per your classes, and previous recordings is available over here, code is available over here, assignment is available over here. So I think we are following a similar kind of a pattern in every tab. So it's very easy to find out your recordings, previous class recordings. If you wanted to go through in a fast track, so you can go through in a fast track. So wherever I have mentioned recordings, so it's basically a previous class recording. So if you wanted to fast track each and everything, do it. There is no problem with that. So, and again, if you want me to give you access to some other batches where you wanted to complete everything immediately and then apply for the job, do it. So you're not supposed to wait for others to complete it. You're not supposed to wait for another 3 months. So that facility is available. Go through the recordings. It's possible, and parallelly, so we'll try to cover inside a class as well.
And one more thing, just wanted to check. So about the assignment. So let's say if I am doing it a fast track.
Yeah.
So in that case, do I need to submit my assignments? As in.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, for sure.
That?
Yes, yeah, for sure. Miss fast track means what? You will just not have to go through the recordings, right? You have to complete everything.
Okay.
Then only you can say that, okay, fine, I have completed it. Because going through the lecture is one thing, right? Watching the movies. But yeah, going through the assignments, you will try to evaluate yourself that, okay, fine, so this is how good I'm with this particular topics, right?
Perfect.
So yes, you have to do that for sure.
Yeah. Sudhanshu, one query. Actually, in some module there is no recording. Like if you check REST API or
so first
database.
of all, go through the recording, and in a recording itself you will get your answer, because REST, if you talk about a MongoDB, so we have already covered those part into your, and we always cover those part into your Python project. And for project, I think there is a recording. These many recordings are there.
Okay,
so if you will go through, generally this is the question, this is the kind of a question I'm receiving from your batches. Let's go through the recording, because in recordings we said each and everything. And for which whatever you're not able to find the recording, so that is not true. Recording is there, but yes, it depends upon the classes, and already code is already available, I think, even for REST and even for MongoDB. But generally we integrate MongoDB and REST API into our Python project. So there are a 6 to 7 stack we use all together in a single project itself.
Sir, I have a question on the recorded sessions.
Yeah.
Sir, why are they made public on your YouTube channel?
Ma'am, so basically we are taking multiple batches, right? More than 50 to 20 batches we are taking and at a time. And even if you will, so you will be able to find all the recording on the YouTube, but you will not be able to find the sequence. So there is no use.
Yes, got it. I get confused. But even non-batch students are
It's fine. Let them learn. It's completely fine. After some time, so I'm going to make entire data science course as a free. I'm going to do these recordings is going on, right? So many courses, 100 plus project, and 100 plus project, which is not even available and which is not even possible for anyone to create that kind of project. And that kind of project, I'm going to make it as open source, 100 projects, right? In deep learning, in NLP, in machine learning, in reinforcement learning, in computer vision, in hardware setup, right? So many things we are trying to do. So it's completely fine. And in this that part, right? So there will be no live classes. There will be no discussion sessions as of now, because for sure, even if you're going through the recordings, you will face a lot of problem with the system setup. If you're going through the deep learning, you will face a hell lot of problem with the project. Even if I'll give you a code, right? I'll give you the entire code. Already the entire code is uploaded in your dashboard, right? You will not be able to execute it. Right? Because this is not a simple IP file. This is the industry grade project that we have created and we are giving to you. So even if I'll record an entire project and make it public on a YouTube, which I'm going to do that, right? You can do that, and already previous batch recordings is available, right? But still you will not be able to understand, and you will not be able to you will be able to understand the flow for sure, but you will not be able to execute it inside your system. This is not that easy, right? So people who wanted to learn, so let them learn. So if they are looking for the code, so they are supposed to join the class. In that case, again, so joining wise, we are not charging much, right? I think everyone can afford that one, and they can interact with us. We are giving live classes, doubt clearing, dashboard access, mailing communication, right? So just with this much, and they will be able to avail all those facilities. So this is how we are separating these things. That's the reason. So I'm putting all those things on the YouTube. Even Chris, right? So Chris is trying to like make more most of the things like a public. It's completely fine.
Once this course ends, are you planning to take a subsequent deep learning course?
Yes, deep learning, like we are going to launch next month itself. I'll send you a notification. So next month, first week, we are going to launch a deep learning. And
it's going to be difficult for us to complete, do both the courses in parallel.
Many people are doing it, ma'am. So it depends. If you want, because it's always better, because this course is going to take around 4 months of time. If I'll include your resume discussions, because that happens in an individual mode. And that never happens in this mode, in this group, 400 people, 500 people, 1 people. So we spend a lot of time. Then again, resume 2 rounds and interviews, multiple rounds, I can say. So it will take time. So 4 months is a minimum time which I'm going to take for sure, and even sometime more than that.
So do you suggest we should take it in parallel, or should we take it sequentially?
I think it's better if you can take it in a parallel way, because now you know the Python. So Python things I'm not going to cover over there. Python will be the prerequisite for deep learning. In my deep learning, and you can just directly start from the deep learning itself. So parallelly machine learning and deep learning, that will be much more better, so that within 4 to 5 months, at least 5 months, so you will be able to finish each and everything. You will build a resume, and then you can start appearing for the interview. I think that's many people are doing that. Many people.
So Danshu, do you also write your code on Python only? I mean,
no. So basically, I have written. If I'll talk about my career, so I have written my code many times. Mostly, I have written my code into Java and Scala. So when I was building a system, so Scala and Java, this was the 2 languages mostly which I was using. Apart from that, so I know C, C++, shell scripting, many more languages. Language-wise, I don't have a constraint. But yeah, nowadays, I used to write a code mostly into either into Scala or either into Python. These are the 2 languages which I use.
Sudhanshu, I see one notification for 28th batch for students, internship students, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going to give a certification for them? Can I propose some people internship certification?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So we have already clearly mentioned that certification is must, and you are going to get the certificate. And this is the kind of a certificate we are giving to you. I think many people have already published that. I don't know, we already having a portal for that one. So you will be able to download, you will be able to get a certificate from our site itself. And again,
so
you can publish.
They can submit that certificate to their colleges also, right?
Yeah, it's a valid certificate, because anyone can go to our website and they can check it.
Yeah, sure.
So,
many students are asking me, that's why.
Yeah, sir.
So,
thank you, sir.
Is it covered?
What will be the process of the remote internship?
So process will be fill a form, right? And we'll try to check what and all capability that you have, because we have already given you the rating, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in every technology. And based on that, so based on our requirements, we'll keep on assigning you the task. Mostly you will get our machine learning, deep learning, but yeah, if you are interested in contributing with some other technology that you already have, so you can do that as well.
So how do you download? This is for everyone, sir. This is for everyone, actually.
This is for
everyone, sir. Everyone can do it.
No, everyone can do it, but we are not going to call everyone in a single batch, right? That will be individual. You will get a call from a development team. They are going to assign the task. You are going to report to that concerned person.
Okay, sir. But after passing that task, then you will provide the certificate, internship certificate.
Yes, yeah. So after completion of 3 months, so we'll give you the internship certificate for 6 months actually. So 3 months for a learning, and then 3 months for doing a work. So in an internship, thoughts is very clear. In an internship, we are not going to teach you at all. So basically, the teaching wise, whenever you will enroll, yes, teaching is separate. Your class will happen like a regular classes. So as of now, the thing is going on.
Passing that task is compulsory, sir. Which task you will do?
Yeah, for sure, right? But in internship, you are supposed to work basically, and you are supposed to submit that work so that we can utilize it. So this is important.
Based on your past batches, have at least 50% of the students done well, or means I'm
More
talking
than
about the
that.
difficulty of this course?
More than that, they are able to do that. See, if you're going in a smoothest possible manner, right? If you're like revising each and everything on a daily basis, and again, like we are connecting with you thrice a week, I can say, which is enough amount of time that we are trying to give. Again, you have a dashboard through which you can try to ask a question, and many things you can do. We have a discussion forum as well, right? Where you guys can communicate with each other, right? We have provided that portal as well, so that there will be a healthy discussions. So yes, there are people who are like religiously, who are like contributing to all those things, and they are able to crack a job immediately. So there are many cases.
Sir, how do you download IPNB file to a PDF?
Simple, go there, file, and then click on downloads. And
yeah, but it's showing error over there, sir. It's showing like 504, something like that.
If just try to refresh your IPNB file, I think that will be done.
Considering that this batch would take about 3 to 4 months to complete, and I'm already a slow learner, considering that, will you have another batch for me?
Yeah. So we are like, okay, I'll have to refresh it. So yeah, we already have like this one, right? So we are launching a new machine learning batch as well. And again, there is no constraint. You can join any of the batches. Suppose if you have enrolled for machine learning, you can join any machine learning even after 1 year. We don't have any concern.
Sir, even you got the same error.
Twice, thrice. Fine, then check that up, or what I can do, like what I can say. I'll just try to check after this class.
One question for
I don't think there's some path is there. I think.
Yeah, hi Sudhanshu.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you continue our today's, as per our today's plan? Can you continue other topics, because these
we are already done. We are already done. That's the reason I'm taking this question. We are already done. It's 2:30. We have already crossed 2:30.
Once you complete this course, I just wanted to understand: is there any place where we can use the knowledge? Like, I mean, like some use cases where you would want.
That's the reason, ma'am. So we are giving you intensive opportunity, right? So whenever we'll assign you a work, so based on your eligibility criteria, we are going to assign you work, and for sure at that point of time you can use it, right?
Sudhanshu, do you take internship candidate outside this course as well?
In general, no.
No.
So previously we used to take that. Currently I have like a 10 to 15 interns, and who is outside of the course, who have not taken the courses, but now we have stopped that.
No, I was talking about the college students who are looking for their summer internships for 6 months.
They will have to enroll anyhow, because see, thing is like the college student used to ask for the internship, but internship simply means that you have to go and you have to contribute, you have to work. Right, and it's not like I'll teach you, so you will come over there. Because if I'm going to teach you as an intern, so I'm providing you something, and then like on top of that, I'm burning my resources, right? Which to whom I'm paying very high, I can say. So we don't do that. So if you are able to enroll it, so yes, after that you can continue with the internship.
And do you pay something as well to those interns?
Sorry?
Do you pay something as well to those interns?
So basically, if interns are like performing on that level, so generally what happens is, so if we have like hired some interns from IIT and NIT, so for sure, like those guys will be like, they always perform very good, I can say, according to my experience. So to those guys, yes, we used to pay, but yeah, so from XYZ colleges, if you're not performing at all, and first of all, if we are going to pay you, so we are going to take an interview. If you're going to crack that interview, then only we are going to take you as an intern. Otherwise, there is no chances. And generally, like in that case, we always prefer to go ahead with IIT and IT, because we always keep on getting many like opportunities. Many colleges used to like reach out to us saying that, okay, fine, so if you can take an interns from our side. This is how it happens, internship process. Because I can't take a freshers, right, who don't know anything. So everyone has to do an internship, because now it's mandatory. Everyone want to work, but the thing is like what they will work. They don't know even like how to work. Right, and basically it will be a headache for me, so I don't used to take those kind of headaches in that case.
Sir, in your course, sir, there are so many projects, but apart from this, I want to do projects. So how can I find a full stack project?
In internship, all these things are full stack project actually, and after that, so if you get into internship, so you will get a better and bigger project.
So for our batch, whether the internship will get started after completing this batch, or
yes, ma'am,
during
almost. When will we on a verge of completion, right? Almost 3 months. So after 3 months, we'll start this one.
So when we'll come to know whether we selected for that internship or not?
No, it's not like that. So we'll give you option to everyone. It will be open option for everyone. So we'll have to evaluate you, and then we'll tell you that, okay, fine. So you are you should do it. You should, if you wanted to do, if you wanted to contribute.
So for those who are working, can they take internship in the next session or subsequent sessions in case they're interested?
It will be better if you can complete now itself.
So this internship will be offline or yeah, we can do it at online mode.
Sorry?
We need to come to your office for the internship, or can we do
No,
it
it's a remote actually. I have clearly mentioned it's a remote.
Okay.
Okay. Fine, guys. So I think we are done for today. So again, let's try to practice as much as possible. I think that will be better, and we'll keep on sending you notification for any kind of updates as we always do. And yeah, you're recording max to max by today night after 12 o'clock or in between. So it will be uploaded inside your like a dashboard. So you can go through your dashboard and date wise you can check that. Okay, fine. So this is the recording. You can revise it. Code is already available inside your dashboard. So if anyone is having any concern with the code, so please go and check your dashboard. You will be able to get it. With that, thank you so much, and see you again on your Thursday class.